Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I got two video clips for you that actually shows the stark contrast between how here in North Carolina, how politicians, Democrats and Republicans, are coming together to help ICE vices in a far left woke cities such as Los Angeles and Los Angeles County, where the politicians are doing their best to circumvent justice and the law for a political agenda. So let's go ahead and take a look at these video clips. Like I was saying, ladies and gentlemen, you have these woke politicians in Los Angeles County who are doing their utmost to defame and to bring chaos into the streets against ICE agents just to protect illegal voting. They say it's a safety concern, but the safety ought to be is about cleaning their streets up. So let's go ahead and continue to take a look at this.
Come into LA County and interact with our public. They have a right to know who you are.
Bus to go to work.
Supervisor Janice Hahn spearheaded the effort. One of her biggest concerns, public safety.
We're having problems.
The public safety concern is how these people are allowing illegals to come in. Not only is it a danger to the streets, for crime, but it drives up the cost for health care, for schools.
With imposters. So if everybody is wearing a mask, we do have criminals who are out there who are, could dress up as agents.
CBS News has confirmed at least a dozen people have been arrested across the U.S. for impersonating immigration and customs enforcement agents in the last few months. Bans on federal agents masking their identities will likely have to be fought in court. UC Davis professor Kevin Johnson
So let's see where this guy's priorities are. He is a college professor. He also is a immigration lawyer. So his loyalties are to the establishment and making more money.
Specializes in immigration law.
It's going to be very unlikely that any kind of court will uphold a state or local law saying that ICE have to be unmasked.
Hahn remains undeterred.
It'll be a lawsuit. So we'll probably get sued over it, but I say see you in court.
So what's that going to do? It's going to cost the taxpayers more money for a factless political gain. This is all about votes. That's all it is. It's about votes. Let's take a deep dive into the stark difference between California, Los Angeles County, and North Carolina, the two coasts and how they're variants. In North Carolina, we have a governor who didn't want to enforce the laws and wouldn't sign a Bill 318, which would allow or mandate the sheriffs would enforce immigration laws. So kudos to Republican Carlin Cunningham, who across the aisle went with the Republicans and overrode the veto of the governor. So let's go ahead and keep on taking a look and we'll see what she has to say.
I am ADOS, American descendants of slaves. I am a Black American, and I am an American. I'm going to present my case in support of House Bill 318, as it is time for my unapologetic truth to be shared with all of you. First, as a people, we need to recognize that it's not just the numbers that matter, but also where the immigrants come from and the culture they bring with them to another country. As a social scientist report, all cultures are not equal.
I've got to agree with her at all cultures are not equal.
Immigrants come and believe they can function in isolation, refusing to adapt. They have come to our country for many reasons, but I suggest they must assimilate, adapt to the culture of the country they wish to live in.
I thoroughly agree with that. If you're going to come here, you need to come here illegally, and you also need to assimilate into the cultures. They don't need to make special provisions in school just because somebody speaks only Spanish or Mandarin or whatever the language, Tagalog from the Philippines. They need to start learning English.
No country is going to allow people to come in and not acknowledge its constitution, legal systems, and laws. They will not tolerate it. So do you think I can go to another country and set up my own rules to live by, use the language I choose, and then tell that country that you must speak my language? That's not going to happen, nor should it.
Now, watch this guy in the background behind her. You could tell he's a Democrat. And even though these two people are on the same party, I got to give her a hand for standing up, because this guy behind her, you could just see him rolling his eyes.
As a country, the United States has been more tolerant than most other countries. Other countries are making it much more difficult to get citizenship. We have been naive. We have been exploited and abused by the different tactics to gain citizenship in America. It's time to wake up.
You got to give her a hand. Seriously, you got to give this lady a hand. Carla Cunningham, you know what? She's standing up against the machine and on her virtues.
Global migration in the past was not projected to be as it is today. We must establish new rules to address a distinct type of migration that we are facing in our country, state, and cities. It's time to turn the conveyor belt off and adopt a global migration suitable for the times that we're in. And that
there should be some immigration, but global migration has taken from people who have destroyed their countries, and they don't want to take the effort to rebuild their countries. You know, you can make money in America from the past and go back to your country and restart, change the political scene where you don't want to have to come here.
That is not destabilizing our communities. See, it was my ancestors who came over as slaves, built this country with a strain on their backs.
So let's talk about it. She says her ancestors came over as slaves. Well, my ancestor also came over as slave, as an indentured servant. So does it make it right that you have to call out one specific group? Because there was a lot of people who actually came over as an indentured service.
They sweat pouring from their bodies in the rice fields, the cotton fields, and the tobacco farms for this country. Lived as servants and was the footstool, I said the footstool, for far too many feet to step on. So today, if you ask me to line up behind another group of people to raise awareness about their plight, I unapologetically say no.
Kudos to her, man. I tell you what, she really stood up to these people. She stood on her virtues and her morality, and she decided, guess what? I'm not going to allow the governor to overstep his boundaries and not enforce the law. If you guys like these videos, check out the one that's coming up next.